So you cut me off. Anyways, to continue, sometimes when I try to give you a broader perspective, I don't. I go around so much explaining all these other circumstantial things around it and different factors that I don't get to finish. What I started telling you about. So last time I was saying that I would go to the church and then that I would be there earlier, and sometimes I don't know, 20 minutes to half hour early. And so at that time, a lot of times it was just be only me and the pastor, and he was getting ready to perform, because that's what they do, they perform. Most of them. And I would just sit there, just wait. In the meantime, I started praying, just kind of cooling off from all this drama that is always on the train in LA. There's always something going on. Or just in general, just by being surrounded by so many people on the train, getting from one train to the other, and then getting off in South Central, and then walking through the neighborhood, getting to the church, and so then I finally sat down and just got ready, just staying in peace. So I wouldn't bother the pastor, he wouldn't bother me. And then sometimes we would say a word here and there to each other before the service. Of course, we would talk after, but before the service, it was more like he was getting focused, I was focused. But sometimes there were moments when we would chat, and I remember that one time he told me, and I don't blame him for that. I don't judge him for that. Just so you don't immediately jump to conclusion. But he said, I don't know. I was asking him something about, I think, Egypt or something, but not about the Bible, not the stuff in the Bible, but some other stuff I was listening to that time, some documentaries and stuff. And he was like, I don't know what happens when we die. I don't know. I have no idea. I just teach the book. I teach the book, and that's what I do. And the book says this and this happens, and so that's what the book says. So that has to be it. I don't know, but so it's like that was his job. His job was to come in, perform, inspire people, and motivate them. It's a motivational speaker. That's their job. So you can't expect from such people that will give you some immense depth on our consciousness, and things pertaining to it, and the phenomena of life as we live it and as we perceive it on Earth and beyond. So, I would say that you, in order to influence somebody profoundly, but I mean really touch them profoundly for their entire life, like not temporarily inspire them and motivate them, but to solidly touch them to the point where they will never forget, and their whole life will change from that moment on, and they will never see it the same way again. It takes a lot. It takes depth in you, and I could refer to that, or I'll give you an example as this, like somebody who peels a lot of layers of themselves. So you shed and you shed and you shed like an onion. You shed those layers off until you get to the very core of it. Okay? To your own very core. That's where you feel everything. That's where things are raw. That's where things are real. There's no fairy tales about it. It's not only nice, it can be ugly, it can be, it can just be disgusting, it can be horrifying, cruel even, and then on the other hand, so beautiful and so powerful and so merciful. It is such a strange, the composure of opposites, and that's what it takes. That's what it takes to be more than a than a motivational speaker. That's what it takes to actually have that have the depth, and then projecting that depth on the outside. I mean, outside. It's funny because there's no outside. You know what I mean? Just basically bouncing off of the inside. That's what we're really doing. Even with this, what I do now, that I speak to you about this stuff. So, and that's my problem with motivational speakers. That usually comes from the material, line of poverty, and then once they attain certain, material wealth, they connect that with, attracting wellness, making these good thoughts, this positive vibration, bringing abundance to your life. And a lot of times people get so caught up with this. Oh, now I can have the most expensive car, now I can have the most expensive house, now I can have life that I've never, imagined that I could live because we were always poor. So it's kind of funny that it always goes back to creating more, buying more, needing more fancy, expensive stuff, luxuries. And I would think when somebody inspires you, but truly inspires you and touches you really deeply, that you would start seeing the nonsense in owning all sorts of stuff that you don't really use, but you just have for the status, or because you could never have it. That's the same way as if I was hungry for a year, and then I'd finally, came to some kind of success, and then I'd eat 10 pizzas a day because I just couldn't afford not even one a week prior to that. And it's kind of like, is that really it? And I'm not saying that this is the only aspect that they usually talk about or teach, but it's the main aspect, which kind of defeats the purpose of, like, can you be really happy and content with yourself? Or it's only when you feel successful in the society that you feel content? Because if that's the only way, then you feeling content is very, very conditional. And it does always rely and lean on motivation. Good vibes, motivational speeches, motivational people that just never run out of good stuff to tell you. That's what bothers me. Bothers me. I'm not like, you want to do that and you want to go that way, great. But don't try to shove that up my face, as if that was some kind of profound, spirituality or some stuff like that. Because, come on. Seriously, the cliches that people and the mantras that people write down and read every night, how rich they are and powerful and all that, that's stupid. That's like, you're trying to, like, talk yourself into something you are aware that you don't possess and have. It's kind of weird, really. It's really weird. And I'm not saying you shouldn't believe in yourself, I'm not a pessimist trying to knock you down for you trying to succeed, but sometimes it's also, think about this, okay? I had people in my life who were obsessed with material wealth. Not because they needed it so much, but because they didn't have it. So, and then they tried to drag me into it so that I would help them achieve that, and so that I would be, the active participant or the executioner of, this wealth, so that they would be happy, and this is how they would stay with me or around me or, in my life. It's like, you want to have that? You need that so badly? Go ahead. I'm not in that war. I really don't care about that. It's not that I don't want nice stuff. I do have nice stuff, okay? My life is luxurious. I know that some people who have like millions of dollars would laugh at me, but I'm telling you, my life is luxurious. I drive a car, a very, very quality car. It's not the newest model, it's not the most powerful in the world, but it's super quality car, and I'm super satisfied with it. I have 2 bikes, not one. One I'm selling because obviously I don't need to. I can't sit on two at the same time. And the other one is not even useful for what I actually do on regular basis on the bike when I go. So so I have a really amazing bike, you know, and I have so many talents and skills that I can basically build just about anything. So that's all I need, man. That's really all I need. You know, if you have skills and you have health and you're strong, that's what else do I need? I mean, really. I mean, do I need a really shiny Porsche so that everybody can see that I have a super expensive car? Nah. I'd love to drive it. Love to go on a track and, you know, push the life out of it. But I don't have to have it at home. I don't have to be worried about it, paying insurance, paying all these expenses and maintenance. It's terribly expensive, pricey maintenance on it. I don't need that. Who cares about that stuff? Just so that the neighbors can see that I have it in front of the house. You know, it just these kind of stuff. You see, it's like the confidence comes from not wanting anything, not wanting, but not desiring more. Okay, that's where the confidence comes from. Because if you always desire something more than you have, that means you're very dissatisfied. And when you're dissatisfied, you can't be confident. When you're dissatisfied with yourself and your status of life, and you think you actually have to own certain things and have a certain, you know, status in this society, then you're dependent on that. And then you're not confident because you're always chasing something higher than yourself. You will never recognize that height, that power, that might within you. You always think that you have to attain and achieve certain goals, and then you will be fulfilled. But the fulfillment does not come from achieving anything. The fulfillment comes from realizing who and what you are. And then you can achieve just about anything you want to. And then it's only up to you, once you realize that, do I actually need that? Is that worth fighting for? Is that worth, you know, me focusing all my attention and all my energy into it? And then you know what you know. And then you do what you're supposed to do. And you don't do more than that. Because it's not worth it, and you know that at that time. At the time, you know that that's it. So, that's about it for today. Alright, guys. Have a good day, good night, wherever you are.